Hello, this is Ashley Cope. I'm going to be talking for my post-immersion cultural experience journal video. I went to an Asian market in Knoxville, Tennessee, and sat in on a sushi workshop to study the Asian culture. I feel like I learned a lot from this experience. Um, with meeting the people and their culture and how they make things and how they kind of live and how they interact with one another. It was kind of similar to what I had expected. Um, I expected them all to kind of be talking in their own language, and that I would feel like an outsider, and that actually was the case. They didn't really speak English that well, and when I asked questions, they kind of mumbled amongst themselves, and then one person spoke for the group. So I thought that was interesting. Um, there was a story told about the culture and why they um, are so why education is so important to them. One of the ladies had told me that it's kind of like a status thing. The higher your education, the more important you look to your family, and the like it's like a status ranking. The better that it makes your culture look. So um, a lot of Asians in the newer generations push to be doctors or lawyers or CEOs or something high up. That way, it gives their culture a better status overall. Um, I think that it will be helpful for me in my counseling career to know different things about this culture. They are growing in the United States. There, as of 2016, there's over 20 million reported, most of them residing in the West Coast area. Um, I have the answers here to some of the questions that I asked. Um, one of the questions that I asked was, do you commonly get referred to as Chinese or Japanese without being asked your actual nationality? One man actually told me that he gets referred to as Oriental, which is very racist to them. They do not like that. They said it's one of the most degrading things that they could be called, because Oriental is considered a flavor, or, like an Oriental noodle or something like that. That the word Oriental does not actually describe a person or a group of people. Um, and I did speak with my sister-in-law about that. She is Vietnamese, and she said that that's true as well, for her, that that's one of the most degrading things that they could be called. But I guess most people who aren't knowledgeable like myself would never know that. Um, if I see an Asian person, I just automatically assume they're Chinese or Japanese. But there are many different ethnicities. Let's see. One of the questions I asked was very interesting. It said, is your culture more open to the melting pot as far as mixing cultures and races go? One lady told me that she feels like it is more accepted now than it was back then, but it's expected that they marry within their own race, because if they mix race, then they feel that their genes and culture could be diluted. They're very strong within their culture and their genes. They all want to have the pale skin, dark hair, dark eyes. One lady told me that when she travels, she wears a hat and sunscreen all the time because she does not want to get tan because she feels dirty. So I thought that was interesting. In the American culture, a lot of women strive to be tan, or they feel like tan skin is more beautiful. So that was something interesting for me to learn. Let's see. Trying to make sure that I answer all the questions here from the syllabus for the purpose of the assignment. What additional questions do you have following the immersion experience? Like I said earlier, I come from a very rural part of Virginia. It's mainly just white Americans here, all of the same culture. We all share similar lifestyles and so forth. So I think that it is important for me, upon counseling practicing, that I do get out and experience other lifestyles and what other people go through. That way I can have an open mind. What other thoughts or reflections do you have that you didn't ask? Again, I just am glad that I did this experience. I think that it's very important to know how other people think and feel. Within the Asian community, I learned that they respect their elders, they respect their ancestors more so than us as Americans do. You know, we kind of live in an entitled generation now, I feel like. Um, the Asians do not feel that way. Their parents will go without and work in shops and factories and nail salons and do anything and everything they can to push their children through their education. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.